What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to another video. Today, we got a couple stories that we need to discuss in the NASCAR world. Let's just jump straight into this. So, basically, this episode is kind of rolled around a few stories. We're going to talk about the Iracing Pro Invitational Series ratings. We got some exciting things to talk about that. We're going to talk about NASCAR's tentative schedule for the foreseeable future, what it kind of is going to look like, and then we're going to talk about Matt Kenseth and Ryan Newman a little more. So there's a little bit of exciting news to discuss about that. Now, let's jump straight into the news. So the first thing, of course, I could just mention at the beginning, we're going to talk about the Iracing Talladega ratings. Yes, and they are very, very good. So, according to Adam Stern, Fox Sports earned 1.24 million viewers for Sunday's Pro Invitational Series event, the Geico 170 from virtual Talladega. That is up from 971,000 viewers last week at Richmond and is the second highest for any of NASCAR's iRacing events so far. So that's very exciting news. Now, I'll say probably why. One, many of the broadcasts were on the Fox Sports Network. Until this week, the Fox Sports iRacing broadcasts have usually been for me, since I live in St. Louis, have been usually on the FS1 networks. I'm not sure about most broadcasts, but for Talladega, they put it on the main Fox network. So that's one of the main reasons. But number two, the racing itself was so good. It was the best iRacing Pro Invitational Series event up to this point. And I think this series has kind of lived up to its name. Last week's been really, really good. Bristol kind of is an outlier for all the other races. But I think Talladega was straight up a great race. You didn't see a bunch of BS. It was just fantastic racing. And it came down to basically a three-wide finish coming to the checker fight between Alex Bowman, Corey LaJoie, and I believe Ryan Prix, if I'm not mistaken, were all right next to each other coming to checker flag. Alex Bowman winning in a really good race. The race was strong. I think that's why the ratings were up. To see that the race still gets over 1 million viewers, I think that's really exciting for the future of iRacing as we get really close to returning to NASCAR racing very, very, very soon. Apologize for the lighting being really bad because the lighting keeps going on and off since I'm in the garage. Anyway, now we get into the next story. We are going to talk about NASCAR's tentative schedule that they have kind of released for May through June. Auto Week's Matt Weaver kind of obtained a list of what the beginning of this of the return of NASCAR is going to look like. And here's how it's going to kind of work. So, we're going to start on May 17th, kind of like the original plan is, to run at Darlington at a 400-mile race at Darlington. The next race is still going to be at Darlington, but it's going to be a 310-mile race on May 20th on Wednesday. Then on Sunday, May 24th, we will go to Charlotte International Speedway for the Coca-Cola 600. And then 3 days later, on Wednesday, on May 27th, we will run a 310-mile race at Charlotte International Speedway. Right after that, we're going to go on May 31st, I'm sorry. We're going to go to Martinsville National Speedway that Sunday. And then on June 3rd, we're going to run Bristol on that Wednesday. Then June 7th on Atlanta. And then 1 week later on June 14th. Now, many of you are asking, why are they running a couple more Darlington races and a couple more Charlotte races? Reason is logistics. NASCAR looks to be planning on running about 3 to 4, about the first couple weeks. They're looking at least the first 6 or 7 weeks. They're not first 4 or 5 weeks, I'm sorry. They're kind of trying to be logistically around the Charlotte through like the Virginia area, kind of leave the Carolinas and the Virginia areas, just so they don't have to travel as much, so they can get cars prepped up and ready to go when we do return to racing. But I think it's very interesting that we're going to run kind of in that general first vicinity for all that matter for at least the first 2 weeks. I know in Virginia right now they have not announced because they're still in a stay-at-home order until June 10th, but they might lift it. Who knows? But we don't know what the mayor of that, not the mayor, the governor is going to do for that. Ralph Northam, I should say, is going to do, but Ralph Northam's an idiot, so who really knows? But we'll see what happens when NASCAR does return there. But they're just logistics standpoint. They're just trying not to travel as much. They're not trying to travel to a ton of places because, again, they've got a lot of work to do. We've only got a little bit of time. If this is when NASCAR is going to return, this is what NASCAR's season is going to look like. Man, I hope you've all enjoyed your off season and your time away from watching and not watching a sport, because you're not going to be going away too much, because we're going to be seeing races left, right, and center. Many midweek races, many possible doubleheaders, because we don't know about the rest of the schedule. Now, I'm not so sure about things like Michigan, of course, or like Sonoma. I think that's another reason too is why We're probably aren't going to be, there's a couple more races at Darlington and like Charlotte. Michigan isn't looking so pretty. They've had a huge rise of cases up in the Michigan area. And Sonoma, California, we don't know anything about California. And Sonoma does not look really pretty that race is going to happen as right now. And I believe that Sonoma will probably end up getting canceled or postponed to a later date. But not like you're going to see races in Michigan or you're not going to see races at Sonoma. So on that standpoint, I'm excited that we're very close probably to racing. Again, NASCAR has not released the official schedule of what's going to happen when they do return, but we'll see what NASCAR does when we do get back to returning to racing. Now we get kind of into more details on this. Roy Cooper had during his press conference and release today, he announced this. Roy Cooper says unless health conditions go down, the Coco 600 will be able to happen without fans. So, like I've said this in the past, they're looking into the first 4 or 5 weeks without running NASCAR races without fans. And Roy Cooper kind of agrees with me. He says unless conditions do get worse, which they could get worse, that's something that isn't out of question. But if the conditions kind of stay the way they are, and there isn't a lot, it doesn't get too bad, and people do start just chilling out and stuff, and don't end up getting sick, and we don't see a huge rising influx in cases, it looks like NASCAR is going to have the Coke 600 kind of its full duration, which that's really exciting. And it will actually be the only Memorial Day race that happens on Memorial Day. Remember, the Indianapolis 500 was postponed till August 23rd, and the Monaco Grand Prix for the first time. As already mentioned, the Monaco Grand Prix got canceled for the first time since 1954. So if this race does happen and it does come to fruition and there's no things that get worse, we're going to have the only race for Memorial Day weekend. And just to say this, NASCAR will probably be the first sport back racing in general. You know, look at like MLB, you look at NFL. NFL is not going to start until September, so there's no problems there. The NBA is kind of scrambling. MLB is kind of scrambling. NASCAR, while they're still kind of scrambling to get the season restarted, it looks to me like we're getting really close to restarting the season. And the Coke 600, it looks to me like we're really good on that. Now we get into another kind of part of this whole thing. We're going to talk about live pit stops. Live pit stops, we thought there was a rumor going around that live pit stops were probably not going to end up happening. Well, it doesn't look like that. We're not going to change that. Looks like we're going to not change that at all, basically. Live pit stops will happen when NASCAR resumes on May 17th. So, just like everyone keeps pointing to May 17th being a return NASCAR, so I do believe that we're returning. But I'm really happy that live pit stops are probably not going to be going away. I think that's really good because there was a rumor going on that live pit stops were going to go away just because of the COVID-19 outbreak. We'll have to see if that doesn't change, but it looks to me like that isn't going to change. I think it's really good there. Jordan Bianchi, thank you for reporting that, my good sir. I credit you for that. And now we get into the final story of this episode. According to Bob Pockrass from Fox Sports, NASCAR has approved the playoff-eligible waivers for Ryan Newman and Matt Kenseth. Let me say this for the record. I'm shocked about Kenseth getting a playoff waiver request approved. Newman, I'm not surprised. You know, most people know that Newman only missed 4 races. He had an injury. A lot of times, injuries will give these drivers who miss a few weeks, or for Kurt Busch's instance, because he was not guilty for what happened to him, they give playoff waivers to certain instances. Matt Kenseth, though, getting a playoff waiver, I'm beyond shocked. I did not think that Matt Kenseth was going to be eligible to make the playoffs this year. But let me just say this. So who makes the playoffs of these two? Well, I don't think Newman's going to make the playoffs. I don't think Roush's equipment is as good as it was last year. They were way better last year than they are this year. Newman is a fantastic driver. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think Ryan Newman is honestly going to make the playoffs this year. Matt Kenseth, on the other hand, I think that he has a very, very, very good shot of making the playoffs this year. And in fact, I don't think he'll just make it on wins this year. I think he'll make it on points. Remember, we've only ran 4 races this year, and Matt Kenseth is driving a really, really good car. Now, do I think Matt Kenseth is going to win the championship this year? No, I don't think he'll win the title this year. But Matt Kenseth has a very good shot. Do I think he'll make the round of 8? Yes. I think he'll probably even make it up to the round of 8 and get Chevy kind of back on their footing. The thing that Matt Kenseth, is now eligible to make the playoffs. He wasn't even racing last year, and now he's racing. And I think it's really exciting that Matt Kenseth and Ryan Newman both have an opportunity to make the playoffs. I'm glad that their requests have been approved. Something that's really good for the sport in general. And I can't wait to see how Matt Kenseth and Ryan Newman are going to do, because those two guys have a really good shot, especially since Newman is medically clear. And also, that's another reason why I don't think Newman will make the playoffs. I just don't know if his head will be completely in the right place. I think he'll so show his competitive strides, but I'm not sure that he will end up making the playoffs. So, those are a few stories that I wanted to discuss here today. So, anyway, that is going to be it for today's video. I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Turn notifications on so you get notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Links in the description below for that. And comment your thoughts on today's video. How do you think Matt Kenseth is going to do when he returns? When do you think NASCAR is going to release the schedule? Let me know in the comments below. We're getting close to 150 subscribers here on YouTube, and I hope to be there very, very soon. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.